Hi, everybody. Lee News here, Forward Arrow Solutions. I'm going to walk you through the payroll portion of our software here. This obviously is the dashboard. You can get some information about your settlements there, and then click here to the payroll tools to view the weeks where you received the settlement. You see the settlement breakdown going across here, and we can hop in and do payroll from here. So there's a couple ways we can drop down to whatever dates we have loaded in here, or we can start here. You see these big yellow buttons where we can configure flat rates for either line haul or spots. If you're going to pay it more as a flat rate, especially for certain shuttle trips or spots. We can do bonuses. We can set up bonus categories for different things to help speed things along while you're doing payroll if there's a common way that you do bonuses and incentives. So hopping in here to this week, obviously you'll get a summary of your broken legs here so that you can review in more detail. Say, okay, this is showing we didn't get paid from 764 to 760. Is that a miss that we need to do a settlement adjustment for? Yes, create settlement adjustment. We can put in, if we know the driver and the mileage, we can put all that information in there and decide if we want to go ahead and pay the driver for that or not. You can also just ignore it. And if it's a tractor move that you just made that you didn't expect to get paid on. But this is kind of the section, obviously, this is a lot of short trips for Mr. Sparrow here. If we go to the next tractor over, you kind of see a shorter list, but this first section here is really to review trips, like it says. Just making sure that there's no anomalies, the right driver is assigned to the right trip and the right tractor. So once you feel good about that, you can go ahead and hit this pay driver mileage button, and that's going to push all the mileage over to each driver for their pay. What it's going to do is it's going to first, we can set individual pay rates under the driver profile, and then we can set company pay rates under your company profile. And this is basically your default pay rate. So if it doesn't find, it's going to search first for driver specific rates. If it doesn't find anything there, then it's going to roll back to the company default rates. So we've got a table for team that you can customize, break it up, one single 0 to 9999 pays this many cents per mile, or you can break it up into different tiers. Kind of like we have here for solo. If it's under 50 miles, it's this, and so on. So you have all that flexibility. Obviously, just remove that, put in what you want there. You also see, kind of looked at before, the flat rates for certain legs and how we want to pay those. Basically, it'll look for that flat rate table first. If it doesn't find a match, then it'll roll back to the mileage rates. That's the way that logic's set up. Spots, you can do a percentage of pay. You can do flat rates too, kind of like we talked about on the line haul runs. I guess in addition to that, we can also do daily minimums for drivers. We can either pay that on top of mileage or let them try and hit their minimum with mileage pay or spot pay. If they don't reach that minimum, just with a single click, you can pay them the difference. So next, you'll go through the fuel. We auto assign drivers to trips the best we can. Sometimes there are conflicts where there might be multiple drivers in the same tractor. So we'll highlight the drivers that had trips in that tractor on the day it fueled to make it a little easier to manually select when needed. Approve AFP, that's approved fuel purchases. So obviously red X is bad, green check is good. And that can also be configured as far as what vendors you consider an approved fuel purchase where you're getting your largest discounts to help push incentives and things with your drivers and keep your fuel costs down. From there, we go to review driver pay. So instead of tractor, we're going to look at more of the driver level. You can see the fuel. You can see would be the so this is trips have been claimed through the scheduling feature, either by the driver through the driver app, or through the admin side by scheduling and claiming those trips, so you can keep up with your mileage throughout the week. And then we can compare that with what came through off the settlement to make sure everything checks out. So we've tried to set all this up where you can spend as much or as little time, going through all these different things, doing the checks, depending on your comfort level, the complexity of your operation, those kind of things. This is the minimum feature I was talking about. If they were scheduled to work but didn't get any miles, you could pay them that $250 for their day rate. If they were scheduled to work, they got some miles but didn't quite get to the $250, we can pay them the difference here. So there's some things like that we can do. Those will show up here. The $250 and $73. We had a reimbursement for some wipers. We had put in some per diem. It's an example, 3 days of per diem for this guy. That's an option. And mileage pay. And then it's really easy. We paid these bonuses based on the structure we set up there, the cents per mile. But it's also really easy to, hey, this guy dropped off a truck for me, but I put in the wrong amount. I'm going to go in here and change it and save it. So that all goes very quickly. So you can get through there. One of our favorite things about this when we were building it out was getting visibility in front of drivers. So you hit this view or share. Also, once you're finished with everything, you can go and just with one click send it to all your drivers like this. And then what they'll get is they'll get a link that'll take them to their driver mile sheet or their earnings report. It says, okay, here's your breakdown, dollars, miles, any incentives, anything like that we were talking about earlier, reimbursements, and then all the trip details here. So they can see every single leg that they're getting paid for. They can see whether or not they fueled where they're supposed to, those types of things. So just increasing that visibility between company and driver has gone a long way for us. And that's something we really like about our setup here. We also have driver summary and tractor summary. If you want to get a feel for how the pay is coming out, and then the driver summary, we can export to a CSV file that we can just push into our payroll processor rather than having to do any manual entry or anything like that. So that kind of is a quick rundown. If you have another way to do your payroll and you just want to say, okay, I've calculated it somewhere else, I'm just going to come in here and change his mileage, pay to $1,500. You could do that for your drivers, and then they could still get a sheet with the same information and just have that that mileage, overall mileage pay, and then still have the trip breakdown and everything. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an overview of the payroll piece here, and just reach out with any questions, and we can work with several, whatever you need as far as payroll providers or processors, as far as what that file needs to look like. We can work with you on that. And then, have a lot of flexibility between specific driver pay, mileage pay, bonus pay. We know that a lot of people pay in all kinds of different ways. So we've tried to make this as flexible as possible for everybody. Questions, look for me. Thanks.